Welcome in, everyone, to Betting Weekly Live. It's Friday, the 18th of July, with Steve Wyss and Lewis Jones to round off the week. Lewis, how have things been with you?
Yeah, all good, Steve. Enjoying the break from football, I must say, in terms of the mainstream stuff. I think it's good to get stuck into some different sports and open my brain up to some different punting opportunities. Been trying to punt along with the racing and trying to get involved where I can there, where time allows. To various degrees of success. And obviously enjoying the golf as well. The sun is shining. What more can you want from a summer?
Yeah, Open Championship. I've been having my eye on proceedings today. Just seen a ball. Shane Lowry just drove a ball right. There's an out of bounds fence. What is the point of an out of bounds fence which pushes it back into play?
I mean, that does seem pretty pointless to me. Does the ball count as going out of bounds if it hits the fence and comes back in?
No. It matters where the ball lands. It's on hole number 4.
The ball's still in play.
I think Justin Rose got away with it yesterday as well. Same thing. It's a real bugbear of mine. If you hit a bad shot like that, you should get punished for it.
But this is links golf, though, Steve. You need to play the contours. You need to play the little obscurities that's involved with links golf. It's half the fun, isn't it?
I'm annoyed today because I backed Bryson DeChambeau to miss the cut. I mentioned this on Wednesday's show. He's gone and shot -6. I mean, I was counting my cash. I consider it an incredible bad beat.
That's one of the worst I've heard in a long time, to be honest, because he was dead and buried, so to speak, in terms of his tournament chances, and he's gone and done that to you. I mean, that'll just put you off punting for life, would it, Steve? Are you handing in your resignation or not?
I'll stick to the soccer.
Power through.
Yeah, I hear stories on the dojo from Neil and Nigel about shocking bad beats in other sports. I'm like, yeah, I can see what they mean now. It's bonkers. But yeah, Open Championship. Remember, with Bet Rivers, there's a great offer going on. You can bet in play live on the Open Championship every single day, and you could potentially get up to a 50% profit boost on your bets. So again, this applies today. I think it applies over the weekend as well. And in terms of the Open Championship, it's a really interesting watch because it's a bunch leaderboard. There's a lot of betting action on it. I can tell you now, there's been some more notable wagers. Someone has backed Rory McIlroy for $10,000 at plus 750. So there's people are not just betting pre-tournament, but in play for several significant wagers that are going on. I can tell you now the favourite to win the Open Championship will be Scotty Scheffler. I'm just going to find you the latest odds. He's plus 188. So he's gone below that plus 200.
Yeah, he started well. I'm assuming he's under par already through his early holes, because that's a big move already for Scheffler. He must have started really well on the front nine. And I think the weather's going to favour some of these late starts as well. Once this rain clears, course is going to soften up really nicely. So if you're on a player out there at the moment, I think you've got a good chance of potentially getting a really good score. And I'm hopeful that that counts for Jon Rahm, because I've had one bet in the Open, and it was just to back Jon Rahm each way with confidence stakes. Lots of people that I respect have been saying that he's ready to get over the line in an Open Championship. So I'm keeping an eye on Jon Rahm's afternoon round at Portrush, and hopefully he can go low and put himself into contention. So if any punters out there who still haven't got involved in Rahm, I think he's about plus 1,200 still. I still think that's a decent price, especially compared to Scheffler, because I think on their day, I know Scheffler's got the major wins in the bag, but I don't think there's much between them when they're both running hot. So I think Rahm, if he has a good afternoon here, I think he'd be right in the mix.
Yeah, I've actually backed Jon Rahm today to win his 3-ball. I think he'll have a big day as well. I think in the evening, I've seen the forecast. Not much wind around. Once this rain stops, they're laughing. They're laughing on this course. They're going to eat it for breakfast or dinner or supper, whatever you want to say.
One of my colleagues actually is out there working at the moment on the course, and he's been keeping me updated with the weather. And he seems to think that the par threes this afternoon are going to play quite easy with the wind changing and the green softening. I think there's going to be opportunities for players that are sort of quite adept at playing these par threes to really get a couple of good scores in. So hopeful likes of Rahm and obviously Scheffler. If you're on Scheffler, you're on probably a good spot. So I think he went off quite a big. Did he go plus 600? I think was the pre-tournament price. So I think you're in a good spot now.
I think he was short.
Was he shorter than that? I'm not sure.
But he's -4 right now.
Okay.
For those who are interested, he's four shots off the lead. Brian Harman leads the way, advised by Simon Holden at 125 to 1 on Wednesday's show to each way, 7 places. And Haitong Lee is -8 as well. Had a good round yesterday, and he's had a good round today. The likes of Tyrrell Hatton up there, Robert McIntyre. It's a really good leaderboard at the moment. So welcome in, everyone. Tristan Wiggle, good to see you. Duncan Evans, Adam Thompson as well. He needs to lie down after that intro. That was the heavy metal intro.
Awful. Absolutely awful. One of the worst.
What's your favourite intro that we have?
Oh, the Stevie Wonder stuff, the like Marvin Gaye intro all day long for me. Not the.
No, I can do that next time you.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, that's my requests, please. It puts me in good spirits ahead of the show. I don't want any of this Korn, Slipknot malarkey. It's just really put me off my stride already, Steve.
Wait till you hear the Screamo one. It's not been brought out for a long time. The Screamo one. That is what it says on the tin, kind of thing. Real Brandon King, good to see you as well from Toronto. Andres from San Francisco Bay. How is things out there? I bet you got good weather out there. DI to Dave. A as well. The Lionesses game. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Women's Euro soon. HJK Helsinki did do me a big favour. I had a really good day actually on the Conference League qualifying yesterday. I think every pick I advised on this show did cash. But HJK did say that was the best bet. And they somehow turned around a 4-0 deficit to qualify for the next round. Remarkable comeback. Rich 73, there's been more swearing at the British Open than Chubby Brown stand-up gigs.
I wonder how many of our American viewers know who Chubby Brown is, Steve. That's the question.
Don't look him
up. Don't YouTube him. No, please don't. You waste your time.
Yeah, every time I've been watching, obviously I'm on mute right now, the presenters have been apologising. The amount of apologies that have been going on here is through the roof. Over or under, like, lines set about 12.5 at the minute for the day.
It's all very relatable, though, isn't it? I quite like it, to be honest, because it makes them seem quite human. Because we've all been out on the golf course ourselves, and we drop in a few F-bombs here and there when things don't go to plan. So it's good to be able to relate to the pros sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. You don't want these pros to be robotic, do you?
No, exactly.
You know, Tyrrell Hatton is now off the course, so that will help them out. He's been pretty tame, actually, for Tyrrell Hatton. He's been like tame as a teddy bear for his standards.
I always like it when the more angry and more pumped up he gets. I think the better he plays. So I think actually, for some reason, it helps his game when he's letting off steam or the psychology behind it. He doesn't being that free and emotional actually helps him. So I think the anger he gets, the better he plays, which is not always the case in golf, is it? Really, I know I've had plenty of rounds where the angrier I get, the might as well walk in. So
I was playing last night myself, and there was one tee off, and I honestly had to really refrain from throwing my club. But then I've realised I've got like a 300 quid driver in my hand, and I'm like, hold on a minute, I've got to be careful here. So,
and then you realise, I thought, that's all right, I've got Bryson DeChambeau to miss the cut, everything's fine, and then that screwed you as well.
Bryson now is it's a good job. He's good to watch. That's what I'll say. Yeah. Adam Thompson's throwing a dart at Rasmus Højgaard at 40 to 1 heading into the weekend. Those twins have done well, haven't they? And you know, Danish players are going to be used to the wind as well.
Exactly.
We've got plenty to discuss today. We've got some soccer in terms of women's Euros. I've got plenty to say about the Norwegian game today, and I've selected some matches over the weekend. We're also going to talk about the boxing. Oleksandr Usyk v Daniel Dubois, the big fight of the weekend. I've got some betting breakdowns. Lewis has got some thoughts on that one. Just looking back at some notable streams today, you can watch FC Copenhagen in the Super League and Sarpsborg, Rosenborg in the Eliteserien, and several club friendlies now. We're in the club friendly season, aren't we, Lewis, where we get some matchups and you think, wow, that's quite an interesting one. And they're just there for the money or whatever. Several ATP and WTA matches on the tennis as well you can watch on the live stream. I'm going to start off today with a match in Norway, Sarpsborg against Rosenborg. This is the one match in Eliteserien today. It's a good match, this, actually. Sarpsborg have only lost 2 matches in all competitions this season. They are going under the radar. They're into the Norwegian Cup final, which they've got to wait till December to play it, actually. In fact, the next Norwegian Cup is going to start before this final. They're switching the seasons, so the final going in the future will be in like April, May. So it's a weird one. They could get knocked out of the next competition before they win the current competition. Anyway, in the league itself, I think the prices are about right in this game. Sarpsborg plus 115. I mean, Daniel Karsbach is the leading scorer in the division, actually. Plus 143 any time could be worth a go. I think there'll be goals in the game. When these three teams have met recently, same manager matchup, it's just been a bonkers game, end-to-end contest. Recently met in the cup quarterfinals, 2-2 draw that was after extra time. So there could be goals. I think Sarpsborg's counter-attacking style is a good one for them against Rosenborg. They've got a manager called Christian Mikkelsen. He's underrated. He's a bit like sort of maybe the Thomas Frank of Norway. He's achieved a lot with being given not too much, if you know what I mean. And eventually I could see him getting a big job, a bit like Frank's got that. But my bet for the game is actually going to be corners in this one. Eliteserien, Sarpsborg against Rosenborg. Over 10.5 corners at -110 with Bet Rivers. That line is covered in all the last 3 meetings between the two. I'm not one for head-to-heads, but I am one for head-to-heads on managers. I believe managers bring style. And I've noticed whenever they play, especially Rosenborg, rack up the corners a lot against Sarpsborg with the style they play. It will be 4-2-3-1 against 4-3-3. And like I said, I mean, I wouldn't put off anyone back in the goals in this game, but -200 for over 2.5 is a bit on the skinny side. I do like the corners in this one. I might even be bringing the ladder out to 11 and 12. I've become quite a corners better actually in the last year or two. Lewis. I really do stuck into them.
It's one of these markets where, even though it's one of these niche markets that I do think it's quite a shrewd way of getting involved. It's also quite an enjoyable one to follow in as well. I think when you just waiting for corners, because you obviously just want both teams to attack and get the ball forward and get shots away, etc. So it's definitely it ticks both boxes in terms of being quite a shrewd one where you can get ahead of some prices sometimes, which don't move along lines of say the goal line. And then also you can actually enjoy watching the game, because obviously on this show we talk a lot about backing unders, don't we? So it's a case of and that can always be quite a tough watch for punters who maybe aren't as who want the enjoyment factor alongside their betting as well. So the corners bets, I think so. Yeah, it's a great market to exploit.
Yeah, I certainly do like corners now. I've got more into it, and I don't just base it on sheer stats. I base it on style. I know once you're in the game state can matter a lot. I do believe you can get an edge pre-game. I mean, I backed the corners in the Punic game yesterday over 9.5, and I think there was 23 corners in it.
Wow!
It was covered by half time. That's another one I like, where you've got a massive mismatch between the teams. You get complete territorial domination, especially on a team who are known for kind of missing chances, so they have to keep going at it.
And if I know the way that gamblers think, and especially probably you as well, in fairness, I'm guessing you'd think, why did I not get the ladder out and attack the higher lines?
Well, yeah.
It's always the way, isn't it?
You're spot on. Yeah, you always want to get, even if you win, you want more, don't you?
Yeah, of course. Never happy, are we? This is life.
We're never 100% happy. Rare. If we are, then we've absolutely been incredible winner somewhere along the line. Women's Euros, of course, is going on. What on earth did you make of that quarter-final between England and Sweden? I mean, it looked like Sweden were going to go through for a long period of time. England somehow come back, and then the penalty shootout, which I still haven't actually seen it in full. I've seen some clips from it. Was incredible, Lewis. I mean, some might say, maybe of England's name on the trophy. I don't think it is, because Spain are that good. But maybe to the final, at least for England, after that one, should have gone out, really, and somehow survived in the competition.
Yeah, they did. Fair play to the manager, actually. Made changes at the key time of the game, actually bringing Chloe Kelly on, and Adjiman, the centre forward, actually made a really big difference. They just went a bit more direct, got the ball in the box a bit more, and it seemed to cause Sweden lots of problems. So I think we saw up close the major benefit here of having a real high elite manager that can make big decisions at big times in these knockout matches. And Serena Wiegmann definitely did that in that game. Yeah, she's an excellent operator, actually. And having her in your corner, in these big stake one-off games. She never seems to panic. She always seems to make the right decisions. And Chloe Kelly was sensational when she came on and took her penalty really well as well. So she'll be knocking on the door, I think, for a start. She's a big game player. She reminds me a bit of Cole Palmer, to be honest. She seems to always pop up in these big games and make the difference for whoever she's playing for. So yeah, no, it's very entertaining to watch from an England perspective, a patriotic perspective. Can they go all the way? Not quite sure. I think the manager is the key to them. I think she could keep them. If she keeps making these right decisions in game, then they got a good chance. But this Spanish team, as I mentioned on another show, I'm already on them from the anti-post perspective at 3-1. So I'm really keen on them getting over the line. And everything I've seen so far from the tournament, I think they're the best team. And the only thing probably stopping them probably is the brilliance of Serena Wiegmann in a final potentially. And I think that's the final everyone wants to see, England versus Spain. That'd be a brilliant occasion and a real, something to savour. And you don't really get these sort of huge summer football events, especially in women's football like that. So to have England versus Spain in the final would be absolutely brilliant. And I could definitely see that happening, actually. But I'm still happy with my Spain position. I think they're in a really good side, really hard to beat.
It was a good match for some big bets yesterday. $10,000 on Sweden versus England, over 2.5 goals at plus money. Easy winner, that one in the end. There was a good winner also on over. Just looking. Sorry. There was 2 losers on the game on over 5 Asian goals and also taking over 4.5 goals. That was at plus money. So, sometimes it's a shame there wasn't another goal in the actual match for those particular bettors. You were the kind of the first on Betting Weekly Live to mention Spain and how good they are. And you advised them to get on them at plus 125, I think it was. They're minus 139 now to win the tournament, the Women's Euros, and they're in action today. They're against the hosts, Switzerland. But the hosts are a bit of a long shot, let's just say that. Nearly 25-1 on home territory in a quarterfinal. That can't happen very, very often at all. Spain at minus 1250. But they are a hell of a team. Once again, I guess the question is, over 3.5 goals here at minus 143. How can we profit on the Spain game, Lewis, without sort of having to back serious minus money shots?
Yeah, I think the way in here is actually the price surrounding both teams to score really jumped off the page here to me at plus 125. I really think that's really interesting play just when you consider the just basic when you run the raw data just on Spain's clean sheet record. They only kept 1 clean sheet in their last 11 internationals. So it's a very good side, obviously, but they do give you a chance. They do play quite an expansive game, and they do leave themselves so open at the back and also quite vulnerable at set pieces, which we'll get to in a minute. And I think Switzerland have been underrated here in this market, actually. I think they could easily get a goal in this game. I don't go anywhere near tipping them up at those sort of prices. I think Spain will outclass them. But yeah, just the fact that Spain don't keep clean sheets, when you're getting plus money on both teams to score, when Swiss obviously are the home team as well, and they're going to have the home advantage here. And I know they only scraped through the group stages, but just looking at their sort of data from those 3 games, and they were the sort of better team in each one of those games. I know they just got a 93rd minute equaliser to squeeze through in their final game, but won the shot count 48-26 across those 3 games, 17-7 on corners. The XG was quite favourable as well. So I don't think their sort of attacking ability here to cause Spain problems, and especially Spain's, that is their weakness. They're keeping clean sheets. They always give you a chance. I mean, they'll score probably 4 and you're only going to score 1, but they are going to give you a chance in a game. And I can sort of see this going along the lines of Spain getting into a lead, maybe a 2-3 goal lead, but Switzerland still wanting to attack because of the home advantage and wanting to give their home fans something to shout about. So I could see maybe sort of a 3-1, 4-1 Spain victory with a late goal for Switzerland. But I just thought of those prices, both teams to score, plus 125, when you run the sort of recent numbers on Spain's defensive record. Very generous, I think, Steve.
Yeah, and also, this is the home nation. Even if they get knocked out, they'll want to go down swinging, won't they? I mean, it's at the it's one of the biggest stadiums in this competition. It's in Bern, the Wangdor Stadium in Bern. 30,000 are going to be right behind them here, and if they get a goal out of the game, even if they get beat 4-1, it's at least they can show something. So I can see why you were sort of attracted to that BTTS price at plus 128 there. What about the Spanish players then, Lewis? Have you got any props for this one? Last time you gave us a great winning prop at a good price, didn't you?
Yeah, it was Caldente anytime last time, wasn't it? I did have a look at the anytime prices for Spain here, just because obviously when a team is such heavy odds on, sometimes you can find some nuggets in terms of the players' anytime price. But just put off a little bit by the fact this is just a case of Spain probably just getting the job done and not racking up a score. I mean, in these quarterfinals, notoriously that the average goal, they do sort of, they lower, don't they, really, in knockout football? So I don't really want to get an anytime Spain goal scorer on side. But I do think there is a bet to be had in the shots market, and it's actually a Switzerland player I'm going to go for here because there is a weakness in this Spanish team. So I've watched all their matches so far, and they're very, very lightweight at defending set pieces. It's obviously something they don't spend much time working on. I mean, I don't really blame them for it, really. When you've got so much of the ball, and you've got so many sort of attacking patterns to working on defending set pieces when you're only probably going to face, 3 or 4, maybe 5 in a game, it's probably not worth your time. So I can see why they don't work on it. But it does offer opportunities for teams to take advantage if they play smartly, if they get the ball forward, and they win set pieces. Because just looking at some of the data here for Spain's defensive numbers, they've conceded 1.28 XG from set pieces in their 3 games. So that means over 60% of all their XG conceded in this tournament has come via set pieces against. And they've shipped 14 shots from set pieces as well, having conceded only 23 shots again in total. So again, that's sort of over 50% of that sample size comes from conceding shots from set pieces of the overall data set there. So really sort of stood out it really sort of jumped out at me that how bad they are defending these situations. So you've got to be looking at the Switzerland centre backs here. Some of the prices being offered, especially Bet Rivers, a really good price here with one of the Swiss players, because an opposition centre back has had a shot in all 3 of the games against Spain. So in every one of the group games, a centre back managed to get a shot away. So expecting the Swiss to cause them problems, they're going to get the ball forward. They're going to try and score goals, as I mentioned, because they're the home team, and even if they're 2-3-0 down, there's a good chance they want to try and bow out with a goal to send their sort of home fans happy with what's been a relatively successful tournament from them. So the player I've come down for here with Bet Rivers is the centre-back Viola Caligaris at plus 200 to have over 0.5 shots, which I think is a really, really nice price considering the weakness in the Spanish backline here. And even though she hasn't had a shot at the tournament yet, her average shots across her caps for the Swiss has been okay for this sort of price. I'd have it a little bit shorter than that. And I did I did watch some of the highlights, and she does go up for every set piece. She just hasn't had a shot at this tournament yet. So quite happy to row in with Caligaris here at plus 200. And you can probably gain a bit more confidence in this bet from just looking at her domestic record and her overall record with Switzerland to show how much of a threat she is from set pieces, because she's actually scored 8 goals in 70 caps for Switzerland, which is quite a strong ratio for a centre-back. It's no sort of Harry Maguire for England levels, but it's 8 in 70 caps. It showcases her sort of ability to go up with an intent to score. And just looking at her, she plays for Juventus, and her last 5 starts in the Champions League for Juventus, she's had 3 shots. So there's plenty of positives to go at here. If Switzerland can get these set pieces and cause Spain to defend their box, I think, Viola Caligaris here, plus 200. So just to register a shot of any kind, it means it can go off target. It can be a header, which is blocked. It can be anything as long as Opta register it as a shot. Just to have one in the game.
An attempt.
An attempt at goal. Yeah, doesn't have to be on shot on target or anything. So really like that price, plus 200 for Viola Caligaris to have a shot, or over 0.5 shots.
That's a great angle, because, like you said, the set piece is a weakness. They don't have many weaknesses, and on a corner, on a free kick, these Swiss ladies are going to be just desperate to try and get on the end of something, aren't they?
Yeah, don't forget the long throws as well. Long throws now in this day and age, it's becoming I'm sure I'm going to be talking about long throws a lot next season, because I do think it's becoming a bit of a.
Everywhere you look, every single league does it. They have it's mental. This used to be a Rory Delap thing, like specialist, and the odd one who did the somersault. Everywhere you look now, no matter what league, no matter what level, they're doing the long throw thing. It's
all about those marginal gains, isn't it? If you
Mm.
spot a weakness and you want to get a team under pressure, and you've got someone that can deliver a flat throw-in a la a corner, then why not utilize it? And I think there's been sort of some not negativity around throw-ins. As I say, you associate it to the really direct, ugly Stoke teams and the Bolton teams with the long throws. But these days, I think it's very much in vogue at the moment, and teams can cause you. You ask any defender, they don't want to stand there and have to defend throw-in after throw-in after throw-in, because they have to defend. They have to be asked questions. And I think next season we're going to be seeing a lot of that in the Premier League, and we just got to find ways that we can profit from the additional chances created from throwing. So whether that be centre backs having shots, centre backs scoring goals, maybe some more corner. I don't know. Do you see what I mean? So we'd have to find that angle with the upsurge in throw-ins. But as I say, I always like backing centre backs to have shots anyway. So I don't need a second opportunity, because I think when you land on a team that doesn't defend them properly from a defensive point of view against a team that know how to score from them and create chances from them, I think you get some really good value in these props markets. So if I'm sure if Switzerland get throw-ins tonight, they'll be loading them into the box, considering Spain's weakness, and hopefully Cali, I'm going to get a name here again, Caligari, we get on the other one of them.
Absolutely. There's a new leader at the Open Championship.
John Rahm.
Not yet. He does have a putt for birdie coming up. HT Lee is gone to -9. Wow. I don't think that's a name that would have been on everyone's lips to potentially even lead at the end of this round, but he has moved to -9. I'm just going through some of the comments now, and yeah, look, that last Swedish penalty, everyone's seen that. I heard the Cleveland Browns are after a kicker for the new NFL season. She's making a case for it. Just looking through some of the bets for the game. Duncan says over 1.5 first half goals in the Spain match. A is going with the Spain money line and over 3.5, and Putellas anytime scorer. Foxy asked the question: is it better to lay the game spread -2.5 instead of taking over 3.5 goals? He says Switzerland are awful. How they got a result against Finland, he doesn't know. Would you go handicap or over goals if you had to take one of them, Lewis?
It's a very, very good question. I would, just because it's a knockout situation, I'd probably stay clear of the over 3.5 line, just in case, because they don't need to rack up a score. They don't need to score these goals. It's the history suggests that even when you get a big favourite in these situations, they just want to get the win and get out of there. So it's not really a bet that the over 3.5 wouldn't something that I would take. But yeah, it's a good question. I don't really have the answer to it, to be honest, because it's not really a game which I can see where there's going to be lots of goals. I don't think so. I can't really help you there, unfortunately. But I would rather bet the under in this situation with the Swiss in this Spanish game, just because I don't think Spain need to go and rack up a score. And if if they're 2-0 up on 60 minutes, there's no chance they're going to be throwing everything at the Swiss. I wouldn't have thought they'll just be. I know they're a very attack-minded team, but they'll be keeping the ball. They'll be just seeing the game out. So I think you've got to factor in the stage of the competition and what the history suggests in terms of goal output. For that bet, it wouldn't be a bet for me at all.
Real Brandon King asked if I can still get Spain to lift the cup at +100. Is that still worth it? Absolutely, it would be worth it. Yes. I don't think you'll get that unless
can I have some?
Unless lazybet.com are out there, whoever they are. No, you do well to get that, Real Brandon King, but it certainly would be worth it. Let's just say that I think they're still worth it at -139. Nigel was saying yesterday he lumped on at -110. They're clearly by far the best team in this competition, and it's not even close. So yeah, we do think they're going to get a good win today, but Switzerland maybe get on the score sheet. Hopefully, one of their centre backs can get the shots on there. As you might expect, 96% of the money is on Spain. The interesting stat from the game: 67% of the money is on the under for this game. So it might be some bettors have looked at that goal line, over 3.5, 3.75, even 4, and think that's too high for a quarter final. That might be the way that certain are thinking. There's been some significant wagers on the game, on the corners market, and it's been nearly $4,000 here on Switzerland under corners, under 3.5 and 2.5, at -400 and -179. I think that's a bit dangerous because they will play for set pieces. They absolutely will.
Yeah, that's that. that would be a worry for me taking that line, the underline, because I think this is how they are going to play for that. They're going to play for set pieces. They're going to get the ball forward quickly, get it wide, trying to get it in the box, and that's how corners happen. So yeah, I'd be staying clear of the unders on the corners line. I think I'd rather back the Arnotts. I haven't looked at the prices, but just with the potential game state of Spain getting an early lead and Switzerland wanting to end the tournament with a bang in front of their home fans, I wouldn't be surprised if they rack up. They could get a game state where they're pushing for a goal and win corners, and that's how they're going to try and play it, because Spain are weak at defending them. So I think I'd be looking at the overs rather than the unders on that particular market.
We're going to switch to weekend matters now, and there's a massive fight going on this weekend, and it is Oleksandr Usyk against Daniel Dubois. And these big fights, just everyone seems to get interested. I've already had a couple of messages today from people saying, "Oh, who's going to win the big fight?" I'm not even a boxing expert, but for some reason, do you ever get that where people message you about something, you don't really know much about it, but everyone presumes you know about it?
Yeah, because you're the betting expert, Steve.
Yes, that's why.
Thing.
Yeah,
that's
so
the
that
thing.
sort of thing.
So you can understand markets, you understand where the smart money may be going, etc. So yeah, no, I get regular messages from a betting perspective, not because of my expertise in any sort of knowledge of boxing or anything. I've got a good interest from a casual perspective, but they've got no strong real. Don't follow the sport as much as others. So yes, it's a great fight to be in. To enjoy this weekend, really good one.
Strong favourite here, Usyk, minus 335 on the money line, and there will be a lot of wagers on him. You know, the money that is placed on boxing is bonkers. It goes through the roof, especially in the hours leading up to the fight here. At the minute, there is nearly 90% of the money on Usyk, 93% of the tickets, and you know there has been. Any significant wagers so far have been on Usyk. $2,500 on Oleksandr Usyk to win by decision at plus 240. I mean, there's loads of markets you can get involved in it. You can even get involved in what round you think the fight might end, method of victory, stuff like that. You know, I know you're going to give us a few thoughts and opinions here, Lewis, about this fight. But in terms of the betting angle in it, is there anything that stands out there as a bit of value that those could get involved in?
Well, yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned there that there have been a big bet on the money for Usyk to win by on points or on decision there, because you messaged me earlier saying you wanted me to preview this fight, and as I mentioned, I'm sort of the definition of a casual boxing fan. So I sent my sort of call to arms out to guys that I know who know a lot more about boxing than me, and are very sort of they follow the sport, they understand markets, understand how the betting industry works, and they came back, and all three of them came back to me with the same bet, which I thought was really, really interesting at plus money, and it is that Usyk to win by decision, which you mentioned there with the punter that's had the bet already, and that price is, I think, what price did you say he got?
Plus 185 now. It's
185. What did he get? He got plus 2
plus
something.
225. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant bet that, because there's people still thinking that is value, and this they met before, haven't they? These two, which is quite unusual for a heavyweight bout like this. That there's recent form to go at. Usyk won in the 9th round, didn't he? And it was a pretty comfortable and routine win. But if you have a look at the prices, it does suggest that Dubois has improved since that contest, because if we look back at the price Usyk went off there, he went off minus 1,000 2 years ago, but he's only going off minus 300 here. So in terms of sort of probability, they're rating Dubois to have a 17% better chance to be beaten. Obviously, he's got home advantage this time, and I think a lot of that move in that market, in terms of the difference, is the fact that he obviously beat up and stopped Anthony Joshua in 5 rounds in the last time we saw him, which was just about a year ago now, and it was a really devastating performance. I mean, it's sort of taken him to the elite level now, Dubois, that victory. But my fear with Dubois here, that we might be rating that form too highly in terms of the way that he beat Anthony Joshua, because Usyk is not Anthony Joshua, because Anthony Joshua his career has been sort of nosediving, I think, for sort of 5 years. And it seemed like, however, the more money he sort of made, the easier he became to beat. And I think maybe we're going to be overrating that Dubois performance, because he did actually smash the pants off Joshua that night. I watched the replay actually earlier today, just to sort of relive the fight. And Joshua clearly did not fancy it that night at all. Every time he sort of got hit, he was looking at his corner.
He hasn't fancied it for a while, Anthony Joshua, really, has he?
Absolutely, and he's someone that we haven't seen since or heard much from since. So he could be into retirement now and off into the sunset. So he was a fading force, I think, when Dubois beat him. So going up against Usyk now is a completely different task. Because trying to hit this guy cleanly has proven so tricky over the years. And I just think that could be such an issue for Dubois here again.
No one can get near him, can they? Like, or even Fury, Joshua as well, wasn't it? But he's elusive. I think William Jenner's made a very good point here on the comments. He's got a max bet on Usyk. No way Dubois will win.
Yeah.
Usyk, elite defensive work, IQ, and people are forgetting that Dubois was stopped by Joe Joyce, and Usyk did stop him in that fight, and you just can't get near him. And he wins so many. I mean, on the points, he racks up so many points because no one ever gets a hit on him. Really.
Well, exactly. It's the way he sort of feints and moves, and that head movement he's got. It's just so hard for opponents to get into any sort of rhythm with him. And I just think that bet for it to go the distance with Usyk winning is the way to go, because I don't think the recreational money wants to back that bet, really. It's not a bet that is that exciting to back. They'd rather back the knockouts. They'd rather back a stoppage in a certain round. I suppose it's a bit like backing the unders in football, isn't it? No one really wants to back goes something against the entertainment factor. So, and the fight to go to the distance wouldn't be that exciting to watch. But I just think Usyk winning in that method at plus 185 is the most likely outcome here. And that's and all the lads that I spoke to earlier had the exact same opinion, and I really respect what they're doing. He won on points against Fury in both his fights, didn't he? And the angle of Dubois he's been known to sort of flag late on in his previous fights, and we haven't seen him since that Joshua fight. So he's had a spell of inactivity now from the ring. So is he going to be at his fitness peak? And I don't know. I can just see a scenario here where Usyk gets in front in the fight, and then if you're looking at it from a football perspective, maybe sort of takes the ball to the corner and just sort of protects the lead in the final few rounds, and Dubois will just have to try and raise himself to try and knock the guy out, and Usyk just doesn't get knocked out. You can't even hit him, really. So I think him getting to the finish line and winning comfortably on points is the most likely factor here, and I don't think the prices are representing that yet. So just from my own thoughts and the thoughts of people that I respect who know a lot more about it than me, that plus 185 for Usyk to win on points I think that will probably shorten between now and fight night, because I think it's the most likely scenario. I think because Dubois as well, he'll want to go the distance. It's his home. It's a home fight for him. He's going to want to try and take it all the way and give his all. And Usyk won't look for the knockout. He's so strategic. He's so clever. He's so intelligent in the way that he fights and keeps fights under control. I can see him doing exactly what he did to Fury and what he's done many times before, and that's just getting to the finishing line and win by a decision. So, yeah, I really like that plus 185, actually. And as I said, I think that price will continue to shorten closer we get to Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, the favourite, obviously, for method of victory is Usyk by knockout, TKO, or DQ. In terms of the knockout, I mean, you're right what you say about Dubois. If he has improved to a certain level, he shouldn't be getting knocked out here. The TKO would worry me a little bit. The sort of towards the end, if it is getting a bit ropey, I could see his own corner thrown in the white towel, so to speak. But he shouldn't be getting knocked out if he has improved to a level. Producer Troy makes a good point about if you wanted to back Dubois, probably to win by knockout would be the way.
Early
to go.
rounds as well, yeah. First 5 rounds.
Points. No way would have.
I think you'd rather instead of backing Dubois to win the fight, as you say. I think taking those knockout prices picking maybe a round group in, maybe 1 to 3, or just taking singles on the early rounds, Dubois by knockout. But can you see Usyk being knocked out by Dubois? I just can't see it. I mean, he's an absolute animal. He's so elusive. You're right. The word you used earlier was perfect. Elusive. That's exactly what he is. He is an absolute joy to watch in terms of boxing. It reminds me of Floyd, the way that Floyd Mayweather used to be. You just couldn't get near him because he's so quick and so clever at just evading those punches. So yeah, if Dubois could knock Usyk out, it would be one of the biggest sporting achievements probably of the year. I think, wouldn't it? I think
if
doing that at Wembley,
he'd be on Sports Personality.
That might be the bet then. Instead of taking the Dubois win, backing him to win Sports Personality of the Year, because that would put him in the mix, wouldn't it? That would absolutely put him in the mix. What price is he for that?
I don't know, but that's it would be one of the most sensational knockouts.
It would.
If that was to happen. Anyway, well, good luck whatever you're taking in that fight. I think it's going to be, the interest is going to seriously ramp up during the day. There's nothing quite like a boxing fight for it. It's remarkable, really. I'm going to finish off by giving you some bets for the weekend in Scandinavia. There is a huge match in Norway I'm going to talk about soon, but I've got to get involved with one here in Sweden on these are the Saturday fixtures. I've got absolutely nothing in the top game there. The Djurgården against Elfsborg. Osters Malmo, do watch out. Malmo are starting to improve a lot. Really found a bit of form recently, both domestically and in Europe. And Malmo might have a deep run in the qualifying for the Champions League, I think now. They certainly should have enough for Osters. But the bet I really like is in the bottom game there. Dagerfors against GAIS. Minus 124 on GAIS definitely is a bet here. Dagerfors have been awful since the resumption of the league. I think they've not just been losing games, they've been losing them by significant margins. They're now in the bottom three. The last three results have been 0-3, 1-5, and 0-3. So what's that? They've lost that 11-1 they've lost the last three games on aggregate since the resumption of the league after it had a month off. They look awful. And GAIS are on fire. They've, I think they're unbeaten like 6 or 7 games. They have got a striker, Ibrahim Diabate. He's the top of the scoring charts in Allsvenskan now. I actually think someone will buy him in this window. He's a real bully, physical target man. He's minus 120 to score in this game, which is a fair price. Otherwise, I would get involved with him. But I think GAIS could take him to the cleaners here and rack up an easy win. That would definitely be my best bet in Sweden at the weekend. And then a big game, a massive game in Norway later on Saturday. Viking against Bodo Glimt. Now, there's actually 10 points between the two teams. Viking are top of the league right now. Bodo Glimt have 3 games in hand on them. This is the second meeting this season. And Viking won the reverse game. They went up to the fortress of Asmira and won 4-2. And if they win this game, I think they could. I think they'll win the title. That'd be too much, I think, for Bodo Glimt to overcome. So in terms of match result, I don't know about it. Bodo Glimt plus 128 favourites. Champions sometimes do show their class and deliver. It's got to be the goals for me here. Over 3.25 on the Asian line. The reverse game was 4-2. There's a large history of goals when these two sides meet. They just go pound for pound, punch for punch. This will be like heavyweight title fight if Usyk wasn't involved, Lewis. The scrappers of the day. This will be end to end. There'll be a lot of goals in it. Check out the goal scoring markets, the likes of Kasper Ho and Zlatko Tripic. But this will be it's a weird one, really, that we might get a title decider as early as July, really. I think when we look back at the end of the season, we will see this game and it will be the result of it could be absolutely crucial. But I like the goals in it. I'm not going to get involved in the actual match markets. 2 bets there for you for the weekend in Sweden and Norway. So yes, Lewis, what are you going to be getting up to this weekend? Open Championship?
Oh yeah,
watching a bit of that.
I'll try to. Yeah, I'm going to see the Smurfs movie tomorrow morning with my son.
How
I'm very excited about that, and then hopefully can watch some of the golf in the afternoon. Might get the barbecue out, just enjoy some of the summer and bit of time off with the family. So yeah, nice to switch off, and then hopefully we can start motoring towards the start of the domestic season again, because it's it's always a good time. It's a good time of year, isn't it? Plenty going on.
I'm due out on the cricket pitch tomorrow as normal, but the forecast is horrendous. It's like washout territory. It's one of those where I want the opponents to call off the game before we travel. But I've had it before where they don't do it. They linger around. You see an Armageddon forecast, and we're like, oh, we'll give it a go just in case it's wrong. And you end up traveling and wasting time. But it's not looking good. It looks there's some real rain going around England.
Yeah, tomorrow. To be honest, I was supposed to go to the butcher's today to pick up some meat for the barbecue, and then I looked at the weather forecast, so I'm going to play it by ear tomorrow. But as you say, I don't think they can rain off the Smurfs movie, so unless I can get to that.
You might be all right. I think in the afternoon down south it's going to be all
good.
right, but we're just going to get it in the afternoon. You get in the morning.
Always the way up north.
Real Brandon King, I know nothing about golf. Anyone think that HT Lee is worth a bet at 10-1? I have been watching him. He looks a really solid golfer, to be fair. But I mean,
it's going to hit him at some point. He's going to be leading the Open, and then that's when the wobble happens. I'm not sure of his win ratio. I'm not sure if he's been and done it and on his tours and stuff. But I mean, you can't be. He's going to hit him at some point. He's leading the Open, and that's when he starts to wobble. So,
well, look at the three below him on the leaderboard right now. Brian Harman, who is a major winner just 2 years ago in this. Matt Fitzpatrick, US Open major winner. Scheffler now is -5, multiple major winner. If HT Lee wins this tournament, now I would say fair play. You've got some cojones.
Especially at a track this difficult as well, Portrush, it can absolutely chew you up and spit you out in one hole. So it's
he is 10-1. I would actually want more. Yeah. On it. I know he's leading the Open, but I would want at least probably 16-20.
Yeah, agreed.
Then if you can get each way certain places, then maybe. But at some point, like you said, he will hit him. And Troy's absolutely right. There's too many elite golfers near the top of that leaderboard. If it was a weak leaderboard, it's a different story. Before we go, I've got to remind people about the Betting Weekly newsletter, The Insider. I don't think it's been released yet for this particular week. No, it's not. You've still got a chance to sign up if you've not already. There's going to be a French League One season preview. James Easton's had a big insight of this, along with the editor Paul Hughes, of course, and some interesting players to watch, teams to watch. Paris FC, I mentioned them yesterday. I think they're one of James's teams to keep an eye on. There's 2 Paris teams in the top flight of French football this season, but we've also got a special UFC official exclusive bet from Paul Hughes, the editor, and there is a little bit more. He's got a bet for the Usyk fight as well. On that, on the Insider, I've seen it. Sign up for free, and you'll also look at the Monday newsletter, which we 2 out of 3 winners on that this week. Jack Wright struck, and so did Nigel. But Lewis, it was a pleasure as always. A bit of a different show compared to normal.
No, we love it. But, keeping it varied in the summer months is good for the brain, good for the soul.
Enjoy the Smurfs movie. Enjoy that barbecue. Cash some winning tickets. Good luck with John Rahm. And everyone, I wish you all well for the weekend, and we'll see you next week on Betting Weekly Live. Following this show today, I think it's 3 p.m. Eastern. I do believe it will be the Betting Weekly Hardball with Doug Kazarian. I got there in the end. Someone was mentioning the baseball in the chat earlier, but gamble responsibly. Take care. Be safe. See you next week on Betting Weekly Live.